fight tonight.
What's going on, everybody? Jade up here. In today's video, we're going to be going over the boss fights in Sanctum. I'll be kind of going over some mechanics you need to watch out for, and of course, positioning as a main tank. So without further ado, we're going to pull the Manticore, and then we're going to position him right in the center. It's just a little bit easier for the DPS to kind of get away when possible. We're going to slow it down here. This heavy attack right here is going to trigger the first popcorn phase, in which you can see to the left of the Manticore, two people are getting growing AoE underneath them. The two people are going to dodge roll backwards on the first one, and then continue to walk backwards. And then what they should do on the second one, after the second one pops, you're gonna dodge roll forward, and that will stop you from getting popcorn. So you do have to have just a little bit faster reaction time on the first one. Now we're going to slow it down again. This is a growing AoE. You want to just immediately start moving back. You're going to call portal phase at this point. And what that's going to do is obviously going to put like a portal on one random location slash player. And then what it's going to do is if you get sucked down, at least 4 people will get sucked down. And then you'll get put into a room where the a shade of the serpent is, and you have to kill him. You come back down and you restart the saps. But if you do it this way, um, all you'll get is those little spears, and you need at least 3 people on the back out of the group for those spears to lock onto somebody. And when the spears come crashing down, you want to hold block, and then you move out of the spears. Other than that, that's pretty much it on the Manny. There's not really much to it. He does a lot of physical damage and bleeds, just in case you were wondering. Earth Core is what I use for that boss fight. So now we're going into the Stonebreaker, which is probably the most annoying part of this trial. It's not the poison really; it's losing the poison really. We're gonna slow it down here. He's gonna pound on the ground pretty much immediately, and what that does is it sends out shockwaves. 3 shockwaves going forward, and then it sends out a few shockwaves, from the side of him, and then sometimes one behind him. It's very random. When he turns away like that, you want to move backwards a little bit, and as soon as he turns right back towards you and takes like a half a step towards you, that's when you want to move forward just a little bit. And what that's going to do is that's going to make him pound the ground towards your direction, so it doesn't hit the DPS and it doesn't face the DPS. As you can see, he turned around and he throws in poison. We're going to stay in our position and wait for him to turn around, and then immediately start pounding the ground towards us. So it kind of gives the DPS a little bit safer direction on where to stand a little bit. And if you need help trying to decipher where you need to stand as far as like how far back, throw down a circle protection and just kind of be on the outside of it. And as soon as he turns towards you and starts walking towards you a little bit, then you'll move forward just a little bit. Don't be too afraid to move back even just a little bit more. You don't want to move back like a tremendous amount, but uh, you do want to move back enough just so he can turn around. Remember, circle protection is key there. As far as the overchargers, one overcharger spawns at about 75%. The second one spawns about 55%. That's going to be 2 overchargers. Then the last set at 25% is going to be 3. And then he enrages about 10%. So we're going into Ozora, and again, we're going to slow down some of these mechanics so you're going to be able to see. I'm going to slow down as soon as you pull her. Within a few seconds, she's going to immediately start to pin somebody, and this is a mechanic you want to look for. She takes her time, moves her hand forward and then up into the air, and then that's going to pin at least one person at the start, and then immediately after a few, probably like 10-20 seconds later, then she's going to heavy attack you. And here is the heavy attack here. She raises herself all the way back with her arms kind of like out a little bit, and then she's going to charge forward after 3 seconds of charging that up. And if you're not holding block and you're behind the door, that is going to shoot you in the door, and then you're going to probably have to reset. The only other time you can probably come through is if they kill the overcharger, and then you might have a chance at getting through. And here's the heavy attack here again, and you want to make sure you hold block. As long as you're holding block during that phase, you should be fine. And we should be getting a pin here soon. And if I remember right, I think I did slow this part down at least one more time so you're able to see. But for the most part, you're literally just standing here and just taking on the damage. If you get pinned, just say main tank pinned, and that way they're able to come get you unpinned immediately. Because if you don't get unpinned immediately and you get unpinned as soon as she's doing her heavy attack, you can still get knocked through the door if you're not holding block in time. As far as positioning goes, just stand exactly kind of where I am. You kind of want to have your back towards the door or at least towards the corner of the wall. That way, just in case you do get knocked back, you get knocked into the wall. But, you know. Alright, so we're going into the Serpent. Now what I do is I slowed this part down just to show you what I do. I immediately run in and don't pull him until the last second. And then I dodge roll towards him. And then as he's doing World Shaper, I stack with the group. And so what that does is that puts the World Shaper on the group guaranteed. And then I just run forward a little bit, look for the AoE, and just stand right outside the AoE. And that's going to keep the Serpent exactly where he is until he does Poison Phase. And then once he does Poison Phase, which he's about to do right now, I literally just keep him in this one spot. Now, as you can see, I'm literally just kind of throwing down blockade, a balance here and there, throwing an orb once in a while, heroic slash, igneous shields, heavy attack, puncture. And as you can see, we're going back to that spot and we're going right on the outside of that AoE, and then we're just going right back in. As soon as that AoE lands, we're running right back into the Serpent so he doesn't move at all. The reason why we're doing that is so that the boss stays in one spot, and this goes for any dungeon or anything like that or trial. If you keep the person or boss or NPC or whatever it is in one spot, that's going to maximize the damage output on it. If you're moving all over the place and you're moving up and down and left and right and all that stuff, and the boss is constantly moving, it's going to be forever before that thing dies, even if you have really good DPS. So again, the only times I would suggest kind of rezzing as far as your DPS goes would be probably during Poison Phase. I wouldn't res during this phase. As you can see, I slowed that down, and if you could look to the far left, you're going to look at the pools when you immediately start doing the World Shaper. Because the second set after the first Poison Phase, or the second set of Poison Phase, he's going to span a Manticore. And basically what you want to do is after the Poison Phase spawn or is over with, the second set, you'll look back in the blood pools back there and you'll see some bubbles kind of form, and that's how you know which side the Manticore is going to spawn. And once you see that ahead of time, you'll be able to taunt it and get it before it goes and starts wrecking people. The Manticore will enrage if you do it this fast, but if you're not this fast at it as DPS wise, you'll take the first Mani, everybody will focus the Manticore, DPS it down, then go back to the boss phase, and then you'll get pink orbs after the second Manticore spawns, which will happen later on. And then you'll grab orbs, which are the pink orbs that shot out, and then you'll reset the fight basically and just continue fighting them. Well, I hope this video helped, and hopefully we'll see you in the next video.